You're watching News 3 Now, live at 4, moving forward.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Live at 4. Good to have you today with us at midweek. Boy, the weather is nice outside, isn't it? Not what we expect for February 11th.
Like Mr. Rogers said, it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. We'll take it.
It certainly is, and we'll get an update on the weather with Jacob Montesano in just a little bit. But first at 4, agriculture and hunger relief groups urge state lawmakers today to supply millions of dollars in food share funding to our state.
News 3 Now's Jalen Banks joins us with what they had to say. Jalen.
Brady and Susan, the State Department of Health Services estimates that just over $69 million is needed to implement the changes to food share operations since the passage of the Big Beautiful Bill. This will include just over $32 million to cover administrative costs after those costs shifted from 50% to 75% for states after the passage of that bill. Now, $16 million for additional county staff and DHS staff positions. This aims to keep the food share error rate low, and just under $21 million to support the FSET program, which helps people reach the newly required work requirements for food share recipients.
This is why this request is supported by such a broad coalition. Today we're asking lawmakers, that's the governor, Republican leaders, Democratic leaders, all members of the legislature, to work together now to bring this funding to the floor promptly.
According to DHS, just under 80,000 food share recipients across Dane, Rock, and Sauk counties lost all or some of their food share benefits. Now tonight at 5, we'll hear from local cheesemakers on how lack of food share funding is impacting their businesses.
Jalen, thank you. A public hearing was held today to discuss Coles Act, or Assembly Bill 173.
The bill would clamp down on pharmacy practices that hurt patients by increasing drug prices and decreasing access to medications. Our Sarah Carlson is here to explain more. Sarah?
Hi, Susan and Brady. In January of 2024, the parents of Cole Schmetnick said that their son died because he couldn't afford an over 700% increase in his asthma inhaler. And this new legislation is meant to hold pharmacy benefit managers, what are called PBMs, accountable. The proposed legislation would prevent these PBMs from changing which drugs are covered in the middle of a coverage period. It would also prevent them from paying pharmacies less than what it will cost to fill that prescription. At the hearing today, we heard from Cole's parents and other family members about why this legislation could have saved Cole's life.
People often say to our family, I can't imagine. I can't imagine what you're going through. But that is why we're here, isn't it? Coles Act is about preventing what happened to my son from happening to another human being so that none of you have to imagine the loss of a child or a loved one due to the tactics and schemes of pharmacy benefit managers.
The authors say Coles Act would stop the PBM copay accumulator practices that prevent copay assistance from counting towards the insurance deductibles. A total of 26 states have already passed similar legislation, and Coles Act is seeing support from both sides of the aisle. And similar legislation has failed twice in Wisconsin. However, advocates are hopeful that Coles' story will shine a light on the pharmacy benefit manager situation in the state.
Thank you, Sarah. Well, today the state Senate took up 5 bills related to transgender youth.
Political reporter Ellie LaLiberte was at the Capitol and breaks down the legislation.
The legislation on the floor Wednesday ranged from minors needing parental consent to change their pronouns at school, to barring transgender athletes from competing in girls' sports, and to prohibiting gender-affirming medical intervention for minors. Fair Wisconsin, the statewide LGBTQ+ political advocacy organization, argues that even just introducing bills like these can have negative effects.
We are hearing directly from families, and our lawmakers heard directly from families at the hearings themselves. That this is causing real pain for the kids in their lives and causing a lot of fear and uncertainty.
Wisconsin Family Action has testified in favor of one of the bills.
I would say in general, for us, we would say that any sort of gender transition surgeries, hormones, anything like that, we would like to be able to see that until after that patient turns the age of 18.
The governor has openly opposed these bills, meaning it is extremely unlikely that they would become law. Reporting at the Wisconsin State Capitol, Ellie LaLiberte, News 3 Now.
Thanks, Ellie. The Senate passed all 5 bills along party lines.
Well, this was the scene in New York City after a large LGBTQ pride flag was removed from the Stonewall National Monument. The flag was taken down after a directive from the Trump administration restricting what kinds of flags can be flown at national park sites. The Stonewall Monument is the United States' first national monument to LGBTQ rights. The nearby Stonewall Inn is widely viewed as the birthplace of the modern LGBTQ rights movement in the U.S. And now let's get a look at our first warn forecast.
Yeah, this week we are hovering around mid-30s, and you know what? We might even see the 50s by next week. That sounds good, Jacob.
Yeah, we might see the 50s for several days in a row. It's looking like a very good Valentine's Day, and those temperatures that we're going to see then will be even warmer than right now, and right now they're certainly very comfortable. 39 in Madison, a little bit colder for areas to the east, but a lot of those areas to the west are in the 40s, and in some cases the middle 40s, and everyone will at least get to the 40s at some point over the next 5 to 6 days. Now, because of all of these warm temperatures, the snow depth has really decreased over the last couple of days, and most of the area now seeing a current snow depth less than 1 inch. There's still obviously some snow out there, and they probably still will be even during this 50-degree stretch, but there is noticeably less snow out there than there was about a week ago about 2 weeks ago rather, when we had that bitter cold. Looking at the current radar, not seeing anything right now. In fact, a lot of the Midwest very dry other than some lake effect snow. We're not really expecting much, maybe some light precipitation at times tomorrow, but beyond that, looking very dry through early next week. Tonight, we'll see low temperatures dropping into the middle and lower 20s. It's going to be a pretty big discrepancy, though, as we'll see temperatures dropping into the teens for areas north and east, but possibly staying in the upper 20s for areas south and west. But then as we get towards tomorrow, we'll see cloudy skies early with plenty of sunshine again for the afternoon. Temperatures getting up near 40 degrees once again. And as I mentioned, those temperatures are just going to keep on rising. So I'll talk more about that coming up a bit later.
All right, thank you, Jacob. The Sun Prairie Plan Commission unanimously rejected a proposed 134-acre mixed-use development that was known as the Derby District. The project, proposed by Middleton-based T-Wall Enterprises, would have added apartments, retail, restaurants, some senior living and hotels near County Highway C and Windsor Street. While commissioners praised the project's ambition, they said parts of the plan conflicted with existing city priorities, and several residents raised concerns about its impact on Sun Prairie's downtown business district.
UW-Madison has named an interim chancellor. Dr. Eric Wilcox will succeed Chancellor Jennifer Mnuchin when she leaves Madison to become the president of Columbia University. Wilcox is currently the dean of the College of Letters and Science, which is the largest college at UW-Madison. Wilcox has been part of the UW-Madison campus since 1995, when he started as professor in the Department of Astronomy. He takes over the role on May 17th. Madison police have arrested a man last week who they say was lighting plants on fire along State Street. Officers responded after someone called the police to report a 40-year-old man removing plants from nearby planters. Officers found a lighter and a small blowtorch in the man's possession. He's facing charges of drug possession and negligent handling of burning materials.
In Monona, police are clarifying today what happened after a search warrant was executed there. Officials say they were notified of a planned search warrant at a residence in Monona involving the Dane County Sheriff's Tactical Response Team and the Narcotics Task Force. The warrant was carried out without issue. However, police want to confirm that this was a local law enforcement activity and not action from ICE or any other federal agency.
Next on Live at 4, a suspect was caught, questioned, and released in the missing person case of Nancy Guthrie. Whether police have anything new or if they're back at square one.
And one of the worst Canadian mass shootings was carried out yesterday afternoon, where police are with who the suspect was and what the motive might have been.
And then lawmakers are voting on a bill that would define grooming in the state. House supporters say this could protect children from abuse.
And then the weather, the temperatures keep on climbing with some possible 50s in the forecast next week. Boy, that water is opening up a little bit, isn't it? We might be looking at some active weather in the 10-day forecast, and Jacob will have all of the details coming up.
Well, we saw the sun today and that melted some of the snow, but is there any more coming to fill in those spaces, Jacob?
Not really. In fact, the temperatures will cause any additional snow on the ground to continue to melt. We'll likely still see a few patches in some places for a little bit, but not really going to see that consistent snow on the ground because we'll see temperatures in the 30s to 40s to end the work week, then 50s possible over the weekend into early next week. And during all this, we're not going to see much precipitation with a lot of sunshine as well, maybe a little bit more towards the middle of next week. But looking at the cloud cover and any precipitation forecast, we'll see clouds increase overnight, maybe some very light precipitation for areas further to the south and southwest, but it will be very brief during the morning. Once we get to the afternoon, we'll see plenty of sunshine again with, in general, plenty of clear skies for Thursday night and Friday. Might see some fog once we get to Friday morning, but we're expecting plenty of sunshine for just about everybody in the afternoon once again. And looking specifically at those precipitation chances, again, a slight dip tomorrow morning, but beyond that, looking very dry. Maybe a little bit once we get towards the middle of next week, but a lot can change between now and then. And it does look like we will continue to see the chance of that precipitation increase during that time frame, and that may cause some of the temperatures to fall a little bit behind that, but we're talking 8 to 12 days from now. So the next 5 to 6 days certainly look to be mild and very dry. We're going to see temperatures in the upper 30s to lower 40s again tomorrow afternoon. And then after tomorrow, they're just going to get warmer with middle 40s for highs Friday, then lower 50s over the weekend, maybe even some middle 50s by the time we get to Tuesday. Again, increase in rain chances around this time frame, Wednesday through Friday, and that will cause the temperatures to fall. But enjoy the next 6 days because it's very rare we get a stretch this good in the month of February where we could be talking about 4, maybe 5 days in a row where temperatures get into the lower 50s. We haven't seen the 50s in about a month. We did have a few days in early January before that bitter cold air, and it looks like that's going to come back and may stick around for a few days as well. So enjoy the weather. I mean, that's about as good of a Valentine's Day forecast as you're going to get.
Well, the sunshine and the mild weather is very nice.
Yeah.
But, you know, we forget that a lot of people make their living this time of the year, plowing snow and cross-country skiers and downhill skiers. I mean, a lot of people are looking for more snow. It's been a challenging winter in that regard.
Yeah, especially lately. It was a good December because we had that big snow November, some light snows in December, and it was cold during that part. But yeah, even though it was really cold about 2 weeks ago, there wasn't a ton of snow. There was a little bit, but I haven't really seen as much lately, and there's no real big snows or any snow really in the forecast.
That always worries me because I think in March, we're going to pay the piper.
It's going to get real.
Yes, exactly.
Fake spring, here we come.
Yeah, fake spring, exactly. All right, thank you, Jacob. Coming up on Live at 4, airspace in El Paso, Texas was shut off this morning. We'll tell you about how the cartel is being blamed and what happened there.
Then U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi is testifying before a congressional committee with questions related to the only partial release of the Epstein files.
Plus, a group of community members, police, and local leaders are joining together with the hopes of ending what they call traffic violence in Madison. How they hope to honor the memory of Sasha Rosen, a high school senior killed on Park Street.
And a hospital in the 608 is helping another community organization in southern Wisconsin support families in need. Josh Spreiter has the story.
You're watching News 3 Now, live at 4.
Stocks struggled at midweek. Let's check the numbers on Wall Street on this Wednesday, closing slightly red across the board. The Dow was down 66 points, the NASDAQ lost 36, and the S&P 500 is down 34 cents. Sorry.
Major developments in the Nancy Guthrie case. A man was detained and questioned during a traffic stop in southern Arizona over Guthrie's disappearance, but was later released. The man, who identified himself only as Carlos, says he was shocked when agents told him he was being detained for kidnapping. Authorities also executed searches at a home and car in Rio Rico near the U.S.-Mexico border. The FBI video shows a masked, armed person with a backpack outside of Nancy Guthrie's home. Investigators say tips have surged and they are actively seeking the individual.
A mass shooting in British Columbia, Canada has left a small town in shock.
Police say the shooter killed 7 people and herself at a school about 400 miles west of Edmonton. More than 24 others were hurt. Here's a closer look at the story.
A local journalist on the ground as the mass shooting unfolded.
It's Trent. I'm here at the school.
After an emergency alert went out to residents' phones.
Reports of somebody with a gun.
Around 175 students are enrolled at Tumbler Ridge Secondary School, including 17-year-old Darian Quist.
I was in the mechanics classroom preparing to do some work on my car when the alarm went off that I've never heard before. And our principal goes throughout the halls and she's saying, people close your doors, lock down, stuff like that.
The Northern Mountain Township in Western Canada's British Columbia province is home to just under 2,500 people, and the scale of the school shooting is hard to fathom, says BC Premier David Eby.
8 of the people who died as a result of the shootings were at the school, including an individual we understand is the suspected shooter, who is believed to have died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound.
Police know the identity of the shooter, described as female, but have not revealed their name. Officers also did not name any of the victims and would not say how many children were among the dead. Imtiaz Taib, CBS News, London.
Police in British Columbia say the shooter was an 18-year-old female with a known history of mental health issues. The motive for the shooting is still under investigation.
In Kenosha, a loaded gun was taken from a 16-year-old student during a struggle at Bradford High School. Police say administrators and a school resource officer searched the student after receiving a tip that he might be armed. During that search, the student resisted, leading to a physical struggle. Officers recovered a concealed loaded gun. No one was hurt, and police say the quick response likely prevented a tragedy. The student is now in custody and charges are expected.
Flights are operating normally this afternoon after the FAA announced the closure of the airport in El Paso, Texas for 10 days. The closure was lifted this morning. The abrupt grounding of flights to and from El Paso was triggered by Mexican cartel drones breaching U.S. airspace. The Trump administration officials say the Defense Department took action to disable the drones, and the FAA posted there is no longer a threat to commercial travel.
You cannot just shut down a city. There was people coming to El Paso. Our airport was in chaos. Our community was scared, all because someone decided to shut down our airspace. You just cannot do that. And they lifted it real quick.
The announced 10-day closure had pilots and air traffic controllers wondering what could be happening. Members of Congress say they were not given any warning and they will be investigating.
The House Judiciary Committee held an oversight hearing today for the Department of Justice.
But the most heated questions for Attorney General Pam Bondi centered on the DOJ's handling of the Jeffrey Epstein files. Erica Brown has the details from Capitol Hill.
In a contentious hearing Thursday, Attorney General Pam Bondi sparred with lawmakers on the House Judiciary Committee over the Justice Department's handling of the Epstein files.
Were there any underage girls at that party or at any party that Trump attended with Jeffrey Epstein?
This is so ridiculous, and that they are trying to deflect from all the great things Donald Trump has done. There is no evidence that Donald Trump has committed a crime.
I believe you just lied under oath. There is ample evidence in the Epstein files.
Don't you ever accuse me of a crime.
I believe you just lied under oath.
Republican Congressman Thomas Massey says lawmakers discovered the names of powerful men that he says were unlawfully redacted in the files.
He's listed as a co-conspirator, not to tax evasion, but to child sex trafficking.
Within 40 minutes, Wexner's name was added back.
Within 40 minutes of me catching you red-handed.
There was one redaction out
Where
of
he's
over
listed as a co-conspirator.
4,700, and we invited you in. This guy has Trump derangement syndrome.
Survivors of Jeffrey Epstein's abuse slammed the Justice Department's handling of the files after some sensitive information about them was not redacted in the publicly released material, while details about potential co-conspirators were concealed.
Abusers' names and contact information is redacted while our faces and stories are left on full display. This is not protection. This is betrayal.
When asked by lawmakers to apologize to survivors at the hearing, Bondi instead defended the DOJ's handling of the files.
We were given 30 days to review and redact and unredact millions of pages of documents. Our error rate is very low.
Bondi also touted the Justice Department's efforts to target drug cartels, fight violent crime, and aid in the Trump administration's immigration enforcement. Erica Brown, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
After the hearing, Republican Congressman Thomas Massie said Bondi dodged the tough questions. But the Republican chairman of the committee, Congressman Jim Jordan of Ohio, said the Department of Justice is doing the best it can.
Coming up on Live at 4, Josh is in the 608 talking about a hospital that is helping another community organization in southern Wisconsin support families in need.
And then lawmakers are voting on a bill that would define grooming in our state, how it's meant to protect children in and outside of the classroom.
Plus, community members are coming together to try and make Madison streets safer for students walking to school and all other pedestrians.
And Jacob is back with the forecast. The warm-up is in full swing, and it's going to get warmer from here. He'll have the details after the break.
You're watching News 3 Now, live at 4.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Live at 4. Hopefully everyone's getting outside and really soaking up the sun in this beautiful weather.
Felt good, didn't it?
It did.
And it's going to be near 50 for Valentine's Day.
Raise the roof.
That's a treat. Let's head over to Jacob. He has an update on the forecast. Warmer from here, right, Jacob?
Yeah, I mean, if you thought it's already been mild lately, it's only going to get better. Now, looking at the current temperatures, easily in the 40s for western Dane County, but staying in the upper 30s right now for the eastern portion of the county. And that's kind of the case for much of the area, places north and east in the 30s, south and west in the 40s. That's going to be kind of similar to what we'll see in terms of the lows tonight and the highs tomorrow, about that balance where it'll be warmer southwest and colder northeast. Not seeing anything on radar. Not really seeing anything on radar for most of the Midwest, just a few lake effect snow showers for the eastern portion of the lakes, but Wisconsin remains almost completely dry, and that will continue for the most part overnight. We'll see an increase in clouds, which may lead to some light precipitation, but otherwise staying very, very dry. Once again, a little bit milder for the southwest, colder north and east, where lows will drop into the teens for northern and eastern counties, but staying in the 20s for Madison and areas to the west and south. Tomorrow, very similar to today, although we will see cloudy skies in the morning, plenty of sunshine once again in the afternoon with very similar temperatures. And then after tomorrow, that's when those temperatures will really continue to rise and feel almost like spring. So I'll talk more about how warm it could get coming up a bit later.
All right, Jacob, thank you. City of Madison officials say they're stepping up safety efforts after the deadly crash involving a high school senior on Park Street. Last week, 17-year-old Sasha Rosen was killed while in a crosswalk on Park Street heading to the bus stop. Family members and those in the community have launched a website, safestreetsforsasha.org, as a way to end what organizers are calling traffic violence. In Madison City government, as part of its Vision Zero push, staff say they're using quick build projects to make dangerous streets safer, faster.
So another example of some quick builds that we put in are bump outs, so kind of narrowing the roadway at intersections. Also raised crossings, we're putting in a lot of those, especially near path crossings. So like Atwood Avenue, we put in several raised crossings, really just prioritizing pedestrians, bicyclists.
From lower speed limits and flashing beacons to raised crossings and traffic circles, engineers say these changes will help protect people who are walking and biking and are key to preventing future tragedies on Madison streets.
In the last week, there have been 4 different incidents with staff members at area schools having inappropriate relationships with students. Now, this is happening as senators vote on a bill that would define grooming in Wisconsin. Lawmakers say defining what grooming is would hold adults responsible for their actions. Tanisha Shaw shows us.
We're all afraid all the time for our child's safety and want to make sure that the right laws are in place to protect our children.
Lawmakers say that there is a gray area within the state law. If an adult is having consistent, inappropriate conversations with a minor, there may not be a way to legally hold them accountable.
It's alarming, but unfortunately not surprising.
Rep. Amanda Nedweski is one of the elected officials backing a bipartisan bill that would define what grooming is here in Wisconsin.
Grooming means you're sort of gaining that child's trust over a period of time and making them more comfortable with activities that they might not know are wrong. Maybe they do, but they feel more comfortable with it.
The bill defines grooming as a pattern of behaviors with intentions to condition, seduce, solicit, lure, or entice a child to engage in sexual behavior. This includes sexual intercourse and sexual images.
We just want to make sure we have the tools to intervene before an assault happens.
Reporting in Madison, Tanisha Shaw, News 3 Now.
And senators haven't voted on the bill yet. We will have updates tonight on News 3 Now at 6.
State Supreme Court justices heard arguments today in a case challenging a state-run race-based scholarship program. The lawsuit focuses on the Minority Undergraduate Retention Grant. The need-based program provides financial assistance to certain undergraduate students, including Black, Indigenous, Hispanic, and some Southeast Asian students, with the goal of improving retention and graduation rates. The plaintiffs argue the statute violates state and federal equal protection guarantees and say the program unfairly excludes students based on race. The state is countering that the plaintiffs lack standing and that the program serves a compelling public interest.
This is not a situation where we're talking about spots at Harvard, and those spots are super competed for, and every spot that a minority candidate gets, that means somebody else has to pay the price.
This is not an equal educational opportunity. It's an opportunity available to some races and not to others. So how they can claim that an unequal, racially discriminatory scholarship program furthers an interest in equal educational opportunity is, to me, incoherent.
The justices did not indicate how they might rule. The Wisconsin Supreme Court typically releases its opinions by the end of its session in the summer.
Well, several studies have shown screen time is harmful to a child's brain development, in some cases creating behavioral issues, depression, and anxiety. But a new study recently finds significant time on devices can also negatively affect the heart. The study shows as screen time increased, so did the risk of cardiovascular and cardiometabolic diseases. But one pediatric cardiologist says when it comes to screens in young people, it can be hard to find the right balance.
It's hard to slow down the screen time because it is being used for educational purposes in schools with computers and things like that. And as our children and teenagers become young adults, they're using a lot of screen times with work as well.
The American Academy of Pediatrics recommends no screen time for children under the age of 2. And for older children, 1 to 2 hours of recreational screen time per day. Davis recommends implementing screen-free times during the day and keeping phones and other devices out of the bedroom.
Madison police say a man was pistol whipped, beaten, and shot on the city's far west side. It happened on Friday evening. It happened just after 9 on Muirfield Road near West Haven Trails Park. The 18-year-old victim was taken to the hospital but is expected to be okay. Police believe this is targeted and no arrests have been made. If you have information, police encourage you to call Madison Area Crime Stoppers.
Madison police have arrested a 24-year-old man for driving impaired following 2 crashes on Saturday. Police say a passerby reported a reckless driver on Stoughton Road at about 2. The vehicle was then allegedly involved in a hit-and-run crash at about 5 at the North Park Street and University Avenue. Roughly 30 minutes later, the driver crashed into a tree on Old Middleton Road near South Highlands Avenue. Officers arrived at the scene and detained him. Police said that he showed signs of intoxication.
Well, singer, actor, and television producer Sean Cassidy is returning to the stage, bringing his story-driven show to the Barrymore Theater 1 week from tonight. Cassidy, who first rose to fame in the 70s with hit records and the TV series The Hardy Boys, is now in the 6th month of a 7-month tour. After decades working behind the scenes in television, including as an executive producer and a writer on the medical drama New Amsterdam, Cassidy says he's reconnecting with audiences across generations.
I miss this connection with people, and the storytelling part of my life, which really is my main job, became the key to going out and singing again, because I found a way to weave story into these songs so I could present the songs in a fresh way.
Sean says his deeper, more Broadway-esque voice and a lifetime of storytelling experience have given new weight to old hits alongside tributes to his mother, Shirley Jones, and his late brother, David Cassidy. You can find ticket information at SeanCassidy.com.
That looks like a fun show.
Oh, very much so.
Yeah.
You knew who that was?
I did, yes.
Okay, that's good.
Did you ever have any doubt?
Yeah.
Well, next on Live at 4, families in Greene County are getting a new path toward stability thanks to a powerful community partnership in Monroe.
The collaboration is already transforming lives and bringing the community together in a big way. Josh Spreiter has that story just after the break. And then Jacob joins us with a look at the forecast. Some 50-degree weather next week, but there are some chances of rain, maybe a little bit of snow mix between now and then.
You're watching News 3 Now, live at 4.
We're giving the weather satellite a spin tonight. This is a live look at Marinette, just a few hours north of Madison, where it's 28 degrees today. It's home to Fincantieri Marinette Marine, which is one of the largest shipbuilding companies in the U.S. They make military ships, Coast Guard cutters, and yachts. The most recognizable craft they made is the USS Freedom. It's a Freedom-class combat ship.
Fincantieri Marinette Marine.
That's it.
Say that 3 times fast.
Right.
That's very cool. Well, a hospital in the 608 is helping another community organization in southern Wisconsin support families in need moving forward.
Josh Spreiter has the story from Monroe.
We were at Family Promise of Greene County learning about their mission and unique community partnership and really moving the Monroe area forward. And joining us today is Wendy Curry of Family Promise of Greene County and also Rachel Meyer from SSM Health, Monroe Hospital. Wendy, I want to start with you. What is Family Promise of Greene County all about?
Well, Family Promise of Greene County is a national affiliate. We are a nonprofit organization that focuses on home insecurities. We focus on families especially. And our big main focus is to make sure that our children and our parents can feel safe, have their services introduced to them that may be supportive. And at that point in time, we're going to be able to help them in their succession plan and their goals to not have to worry about that feeling that risk of not having their houses.
So you moved into this space in the fall, and what has it been like so far here in the community?
The community has been amazing, and myself, I just came on in November, so working with all the coalitions in the community, especially with SSM Health here, Rachel has been a very strong part of what is coming up. They've donated a $40,000 grant to use in our family outdoor space.
Oh, that's amazing, and that's what it takes as a community partnership. And Rachel, what was it that SSM Health really wanted to step up for this situation?
Yeah, I think it's important to us for our mission that we support community partners, and also we're seeing in our hospitals when we're screening, we notice that housing insecurity is causing chronic stress and chronic diseases within our patients, and we want to make sure that we're addressing those needs. A great way to do that is by partnering with organizations like Family Promise so that we can get patients the resources and the programs that they need to be successful and healthy.
Yeah, $40,000, that's a big help. And that's what it takes. It takes a community to be able to pull something off like this.
Yes, it does. And, you know, the Greene County community and the Monroe community has just been amazing. We started a capital campaign last July. Our goal was $1 million, and we are just a little shy of that. So pretty amazing, the outreach that has come in.
Oh, that's incredible. So if folks are watching and they're like, hey, I want to help out with your mission, what's the best way for them to do that?
Actually, we do have a Facebook page to get some more knowledge about our program, and then you can actually do a donation and just reach out to Family Promise of Greene County.
And it's going to make your guys' mission that much better moving forward, right?
Absolutely. We want to be able to sustain what we have started and make sure that nobody has to worry about housing insecurity.
That's an important cause. Guys, thank you so much for being here today. If you'd like to learn more about Family Promise of Greene County, you can go to the story on channel3000.com. In Monroe, I'm Josh Breiter, News 3 Now.
Thank you, Josh. And you can also watch Josh every weekday morning and noon right here on News 3 Now.
Well, if you like the weather mild, you're going to put a big heart on Jacob's forecast. If you're looking for some snow, not so much. This mild weather just rolls on, Jacob. That's very unusual for this time in February.
Yeah, and it's just going to continue to get warmer. We could be talking about several days in a row in the 50s by the time we get to the weekend and early next week. And even the next couple days will continue to be in the 30s and 40s with very little precipitation during this time frame. We might see a little bit more towards the end of the 10-day forecast, but through the first half of next week, we're looking very dry. And here's a look at really the only chance of precipitation we're going to see. It will come tomorrow morning for areas in far southwest Wisconsin. Maybe a little bit of snow, a little bit of light rain, a little bit of freezing rain, but anything that does fall will be very, very light, and most of the region won't see any of this, although everyone will likely see cloudy skies early with sunshine expected later in the day. Temperatures are very similar to today in the upper 30s to lower 40s, but before I talk about that, here's a look at the 7-day rain chances. Well, rain, any kind of precipitation chances. And as you can see, not really going to see much of anything through the weekend and early next week, but we will see potentially a little bit more active of a pattern once we get towards the middle of next week. And with the temperature forecast, we expect it to start out as rain with maybe some snow on the back end, but there's still a lot of uncertainty with next week's system. What's not uncertain is that we're going to continue to see those mild temperatures get warmer. Upper 30s for lower 40s, plenty of sunshine, and as we get towards the weekend, we are going to see some lower 50s potentially, and some days, specifically Tuesday, that looks like it'll be the warmest day, where some locations could even get into the middle and upper 50s. So very, very mild temperatures are expected. It does look like those temperatures will cool down after that potential system for the middle of next week, but for now, enjoy the next several days, especially over the weekend and early next week. And on top of that, we'll see a good amount of sunshine as well. So as I've been mentioning a few times, it's hard to find a Valentine's Day forecast in southern Wisconsin as good as this one. So we might see, some people spending the holiday, or I guess it is technically still a holiday, but yeah, spending the holiday outdoors maybe for the first time in ever, maybe in Wisconsin.
Eating outside.
Yeah. Great day for a picnic.
Thank you, Jacob.
Well, there's still more to come at 4. We are bringing you the most important stories of the day in the afternoon sprint.
It's 4:52, time for the afternoon sprint.
The Sun Prairie Plan Commission unanimously rejected a proposed 134-acre mixed-use development known as the Derby District. The project would have added apartments, retail, restaurants, senior living, and hotels near County Highway C and Windsor Street. While commissioners praised the project's ambition, they said parts of the plan conflicted with existing city properties.
UW-Madison has named an interim chancellor. Dr. Eric Wilcox will succeed Chancellor Jennifer Mnuchin when she leaves Madison to become the president of Columbia University. Dr. Wilcox is currently the dean of the College of Letters and Science, which is the largest college at UW-Madison. He officially takes over the role on May 17th.
Madison police say a man was pistol whipped, beaten, and shot on the city's far west side Friday evening. It happened just after 9 o'clock on Muirfield Road near West Haven Trails Park. The 18-year-old victim was taken to the hospital but is expected to survive. Police believe this is a targeted incident and no arrests have been made.
In Monona, police are clarifying what happened after a search warrant was executed there. Officials say they were notified of a planned search warrant at a residence in Monona involving the Dane County Sheriff's Office. Police want to confirm this was a local law enforcement activity and not action from ICE or any federal agency.
And here's a look at your 10-day forecast. Once again, very dry conditions over the next 5 to 6 days with very mild temperatures and also a good amount of sunshine at times as well. 50s are in the forecast for several days in a row. Not going to see really any consistent precipitation until the middle of next week. We have that very small chance in southwest Wisconsin tomorrow, but that's not going to amount to much. But it does look like we could see a little bit more during that Wednesday to Thursday time frame next week. But until then, I mean, almost as good of a stretch in February as you're going to see. So get out and enjoy it if you can, of course.
It's a gift, that's for sure.
For sure. A look at what we're working on for News 3 Now at 5 next. Coming up next tonight on News 3 Now at 5, we're going more in depth into a Wisconsin Supreme Court case